yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Party people in the place to be. What's good? It's the number one Chief Rock in Knicks universe. Your main man, Uncle Freezie. What's good? How y'all doing out there? How y'all doing out there? Let me move some things around here. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm concerned, y'all. I am concerned. Let me move something. Let me move this around a little bit. Or let me put that back right there. Let me just make this right here. Just gonna put this up here. This will be our topic right here. Man, it's almost 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday morning. And I was canvassing the NBA landscape, and saw that the Dallas Mavericks lost again. JJ, what's good? What's good, JJ? How you doing? Rod Tucker's in the building. What's good, man? JJ, why you pissed, bro? What's going on? Will Salkin, what's good? Yeah, the Mavs is out here tanking, bro. What is that? All of a sudden, the Mavericks suck. Adam is in the building. What's good, Adam? All of a sudden, the Dallas Mavericks suck? I don't know what's going on, bro. David L. in the building. All of a sudden, the Mavericks can't win? I was out here watching, I was out here canvassing the NBA landscape. Y'all know I'm a basketball junkie, right? A little while ago, I was chopping it up on the Discord with IKBM Dre. Yo, y'all gotta get on the Discord, man. The Discord is fire, bro. The Discord is fire. I got y'all comments up here. I'm gonna make this thing a little bit smaller. That way I can see y'all comments too. Let me move the YouTube comments a little bit. Yeah, let me put that right there. All of a sudden, out of the blue, the Dallas Mavericks can't win a freaking game. Almighty Finesse, what's good? Cormega, what's good? Bro, I can't believe. And the weird thing is this, man. Dallas plays Atlanta today, right? And you know what I'm saying? The weird thing is we go from this weird thing of not caring about Atlanta or Dallas to all of a sudden the game means everything. I can't figure out what's going on with Dallas, right? All of a sudden, this is weird. This is weird, man. I really wish I could get King Kai and Rel on. They're doing a show of their own right now, right? And you know how it is, man. like 3 hours or 4 hours on the internet. That's a lot of time, bro. That's marathon. You got to have stamina. So I can't. I won't extend the invitation to them because they're doing their own show right now, and they're probably doing post production on their joint. But they're the only Mavericks experts that I have like direct contact with. Yeah, bro, and JJ, I'm with you. Based on all of that stuff, like common sense tells me this. Like common sense tells us this. If you're Dallas, regardless of where the pick is, give up the pick so that you can have access to all of your other stuff, right? It just makes sense, right? It just makes sense. B baller for real says, I told you they are clearly tanking. They lost so much this season, the pick would be the only bright spot. Right. Latin Laugh is in the building. I just feel that Dallas doesn't want us to get their pick this year in fear of looking like they got fleeced by us in the KP trade. Right? Says Mark Cuban too proud. What I would say to that Latin Laugh is Dallas has committed to the cardinal sin of patching holes. That's what Dallas is doing. They committed to the cardinal sin of patching holes. They're not building anything. Every time a hole comes up, they try to patch it. Right? Instead of say building with young players around a young generational talent and having them grow together, what they're doing is putting band-aids on everything. In my opinion, that's what they're doing. And it started with, ironically, giving up on Dennis Smith Jr. too early. Right? You give up on Dennis Smith Jr. after a year. After a year, you're like, oh no, get him out of here. I no. Right? Cormega, the hip hop legend, says bandages on an open wound. Now listen, who am I, Uncle Freezie, a Knicks fan for life? Who am I to criticize an organization like Dallas, right? They have the two things that Knicks fans want. They have a NBA championship relatively a short time ago. I get 2011. I guess that's 12 years, but at least they have one. And they have had two generational talents in that same span. So who am I to judge the Dallas Mavericks, right? Well, in the immortal words of Janet Jackson, it's Janet, Miss Jackson, if you nasty. No, I'm kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. In the immortal words of Janet Jackson, it's what have you done for me lately? Right? T. Smith in the building. In the immortal words of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? That's how this thing works. right? That's how this thing works, and I'm sorry for those that don't understand that concept, right? I'm sorry about that. Those that don't understand that concept, man. But it's not about what you did a million years ago. It's about what you're doing right now, right? Y'all feel me? Div is in the building. Div, what's good? It's good to see you, man. Div is like, nah, bro, nah. Div is like, no, y'all not getting the pick, bro. Hey, screw that. Shout out to Div. You know what I'm saying? My thing with this entire situation is, for one, if you're the Mavericks, man, if you're the Mavericks, bro, you got to do something. If you're the Mavericks, you got to do something, right? If you're the Knicks, you have to do something, right? If you're the Knicks, I personally don't believe that you can allow this thing to play out as is. Both organizations have to do something. Ashley Inc. One is in the building. The Knicks desperately. East Blue Drew is in the building. Hey, shout out to the chat, man. I appreciate y'all rocking with me early in the morning on Sunday morning. We got old school Knicks coming up at 11 a.m. Wiz says, Uncle Freezie was good. I also just left the We Talk Mavs team, and their fans want to keep the pick. Yeah, they want to keep the pick, right? I'm telling Mavs fans, no, y'all don't. No, you don't want to keep the pick. Why would you want to? Okay, let's say the shoe is on the other foot. Say the Knicks were in this situation and we owed the Mavs this pick, right? What I would be saying to Leon Rose is get rid of the pick so that we can have access to the rest of our assets. Payback Carter's in the building. Good to see you, brother. East Blue Drew says, yeah, the Mavs messed up by getting Kyrie. I honestly don't believe they messed up by getting Kyrie. I think in the the grand scheme of things, they should have done this earlier. You didn't give Luca and Kyrie enough time to gel and or enough time to play with each other in order to develop chemistry. It takes time to develop chemistry, man. It takes time to develop chemistry. It's the reason why I tell New York Knicks fans is if you like Jalen Brunson now, you are gonna love Jalen Brunson next year. If you like Jalen Brunson right now, you are gonna love Jalen Brunson next season, right? Because he's only played about 63 games with the Knicks. King Ribby in the building. The thing with Kyrie and Luka is they haven't had enough time to play with each other, to develop chemistry. But when you're in the moment, like the Mavs fans are, when you're in a moment, when you're in the heat of battle, every little thing is important, right? And I don't blame them. I don't begrudge them because, quite frankly, the Knicks are in the heat of the moment right now also, just in different ways. Div says, why trade the pick? We literally have 2 starters. That is it. What is a trade going to do for us? Nothing, absolutely nothing. We have too many holes. Keep our picks. Right, but the thing is this. That the pick is guaranteed to come to New York. Right? It's either you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. But you're giving us a pick. Right? Let's not get it twisted, right? If the Mavs are going to give the Knicks a pick, it's coming to New York. It's coming to New York. Now the difference is your opinion on the roster and Kyrie Irving, right? The Mavs gave up a first-round pick to get Kyrie. Right? The Mavs gave up a pick to get Kyrie, so now the fantasy island is shrinking for the Mavs. Right? The fantasy island is shrinking for the Mavs because knowing that you owe the Knicks a first-round pick, y'all traded a pick to Brooklyn to get Kyrie. David is in the building. David, what's good, man? My thing, hey, I'm gonna answer y'all questions. I just want to answer the one question at a time. Y'all just be patient with me, okay? I'm just answer on one at a time. Just be patient with me. I want to make sure that I do justice to all the questions that I'm being asked, right? Just be patient with me. The Mavs, in my opinion, give up the pick to the Knicks, and then that opens up the war chest of all the other stuff that they have. Or they keep the pick, right, and try to trade that pick alone for a superstar that's going to entice Kyrie Irving to stay and provide help for Kyrie and Luka. What's the odds on that? Say the Mavericks get the number 8 pick, right? And say they take the 8 pick and trade for OG Anunoby. Does OG Anunoby take y'all over the top and you will owe the Knicks the first round pick in 2024? So say you take the number 8 pick and trade it for OG Anunoby. Right? Is OG Anunoby the piece that's going to take you over the top, and then you still have to pay the Knicks? What? Say the Mavericks get the number 7 pick. Say the Mavs get the number 7 pick, and they trade that pick to a rival like the Pelicans for Brandon Ingram. Say you get Brandon Ingram. Is Brandon Ingram the player that's going to entice Kyrie Irving to stay and make you a playoff contender, and you still going to pay the Knicks a first-round pick? Pay the Knicks. Get it over with. Pay him. No matter what happens. No matter. Latin Lab says for Zion, I'm not for sure if he's the guy. Maybe. I don't think the Pelicans are going to take the number 7 pick for Zion. Now, let's say something weird happens. Say something weird happens, right? Say the Mavs get the number 1 pick. Say the Mavs get the number 1 pick overall through the lottery, right? Say the Mavs get the number 1 pick. It's highly unlikely to happen, but Adam Silver in the NBA, they're tricky with the lottery, bro. It's the reason why they don't do it. It's the reason why they don't do the lottery on live TV. We want to see it. Full disclosure. How is a lottery hidden behind closed doors? Say, for instance, the Mavericks get the number 1 pick in the draft, and they get the unanimous, universally, globally number 1 pick, and they decide to do one of 2 things. Either they can draft Victor Wembanyama, or they can trade the number 1 pick for an entire kit and caboodle. Right? Say if that happens. There's like a 1% chance that happens. Less than 1% chance that it happens. Say they get Victor Wembanyama. Does that help Luka win right away? Yo, fan 123 is in the building. Good to see you, boss. Yo, fan 123 is hardcore, bro. I see you. I was just in the chat with y'all a little while ago, man. Man, y'all are hardcore. Shout out to fan 123. Hey, shout out to Div. Right? Think about this. If the Mavs get the number 1 pick, right? Say if the Mavs get the number 1 pick, how in the world can they still accumulate enough assets to keep Luka happy in Dallas? Because if they get Victor Wembanyama is easily, even though he's good, even though he's great, even though he's excellent, he's still at least 2 years away. And are you going to waste 2 years of Luka's prime while Vic W develops? Also, it sends a message to Mavs fans that the Mavs may be rebuilding and they may consider trading Luka. Is that what you? Are these the type of rule? Is this the type of stuff that you want to have around your organization? No, Dallas. Listen, when you have a generational talent like Luka, the last thing you need is drama. You want everything to be rock. You want everything to be focused on what's happening on the floor. You don't need storylines. You don't need drama. And even if they get the number 1 pick and they trade the number 1 pick to somebody, are you going to get enough pieces? Are you confident that Nico and Mark Cuban can pull off a trade for the number 1 pick that'll get enough pieces to put around Luka? If you're a Mavs fan, don't try to fool me, right? Because Uncle Freezie, a Knicks fan, is watching how the Mavs are recovering from botching the Porzingis trade. The Porzingis trade happened 4 years ago, And the Mavericks are still trying to figure out a way out of this mess. And you telling me giving them the number one pick, they're going to do better? They're going to learn from a lesson? No. And even if you get Victor W., do you think Jason Kidd is the guy that's going to develop Victor W.? And I know some people will say, like, yeah, well, he developed Giannis, right? Okay, all right, touche. That's a great point. Jason Kidd did develop Giannis, help in Giannis's development. But what about Jabari Parker? What about all the other kids that were there? And so Fan123 had a question. Div, I see your question. Fan123 had a question. I wanna go back to Fan. Where's the comment that? Hey, Fan123, I may have lost it. If you could put it back in the chat. If you could put it back in the chat, man, I had it, I was holding on to it, and I think it kind of got away from me. And Dev says, would the Knicks trade for Luka? Hey, man, I'm not confident in our front office to pull off major moves like that, to be honest with you. Dev, I'm not totally there are certain front offices that I feel like are equipped to do that. Golden State's front office would not only do it, Golden State's front office would not only do it, they would make it look easy. Right? The people in Brooklyn, they trade 4 stars and trade stars away all the time. Now, do they always? Now, are they dysfunctional? Yes, but in terms of execution, they could do it. But here's the reason why I think the bridge is burned between Dallas and New York. Jalen Brunson. I don't think the Knicks are going to acquiesce to Dallas. And I don't think Dallas is going to acquiesce towards the Knicks. Because, for one, the Knicks overstepped their bounds on Jalen Brunson. But, 2, Dallas could have easily kept Jalen Brunson, and they didn't. And so the Knicks had to surrender a 2025 second-round pick because the Dallas Mavericks said that claimed that the Knicks tampered with Jalen Brunson. And maybe they did. They probably did. Right? The Knicks probably did. I'm not saying that we didn't. I'm definitely not saying that. Because everybody knows we saw it play out in real time. We saw it play out in real time. We saw Julius Randle in Dallas. We saw Worldwide West in Dallas at the Dallas Utah Jazz playoff game. We like, Randle, why you on the court? This is your team ain't even playing. Worldwide West, why you on the floor? You just gave it away. Now, with that said, Mark Cuban said something in public and then said something else in private. I'm not saying that he's a liar because I understand public relations is a part of the game. Right? But to have the Knicks surrender a second-round pick for a guy that y'all wasn't going to re-sign, to me, was a lame move. Right? And then Jalen Brunson got to New York and started balling, and the Mavericks had separation anxiety. Right? Only if we kept Jalen Brunson, our season would have been. This is what it looks like to a Knicks fan, and I'm not bashing the Mavericks. I respect the Dallas Mavericks franchise. They stay having talent. I've been watching basketball for 50 years. Well, let's say 45 years, because part of that I was a kid, didn't know what I was looking at. But as long as you've been watching the Dallas Mavericks, they stay having talent. Right? Mark Aguirre, Rolando Blackman, Roy Tarpley, Derek Harper, James Donaldson, Jason Kidd, Jamal Mashburn, Jimmy Jackson, Dirk Nowitzki, Tyson Chandler, Sean Marion, Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, Kyrie Irving. Over the years, Dallas stays with talent. Dallas stays keeping talent. I respect the Dallas Mavericks organization. They stay having talent. They know how to get talent. So I'm not bashing them. I'm speaking to one specific move that puts a lot of normally rock steady pieces in jeopardy. Right? If I'm Dallas, I'm giving up the pick right now. I don't care what it looks like to the public. I'm just making the move. Like, listen, if it's someone, and listen, I'm giving up the pick under conditions. 7 to infinity, I'm giving the Knicks the pick. If it's top 6, I'm keeping the pick. Sorry, Knicks. But I can't give you a top 6 pick in this draft. Sorry. And this is coming from a Knicks fan. So so ultimately what I'm saying is, if the Dallas pick falls within a reasonable range, I'm giving it up. If it's a generational pick, hell no, I'm not giving the Knicks the pick. Why would I give the Knicks a top 6 pick in this draft? I'd be crazy. Right? But if you're the Knicks, you are very concerned that the gamble that you made may not pay off. See, the gamble was Dallas would be a second round team, and you'd get the pick somewhere between 21 through 30. As the season went on, and Dallas started looking more and more susceptible to missing the playoffs, the pick's value increased over time. Right? So the gamble that the Knicks made, because at one point, and this is for Knicks fans, at one point the Knicks had 4 first-round picks in this draft, right? The Knicks pick, the Dallas pick, that's 2, right? The Detroit pick, that's 3, and the Washington Wizards pick. The most unlikely pick to convey was the Detroit Pistons pick. In order for us to get the Pistons pick this year, the Pistons would have to have made the playoffs. So it was highly unlikely we would have got that pick. Right? Because they looked like a terrible team to start the season. They came out the gates looking terrible, and the Detroit Pistons are terrible. So let's discount the Detroit pick, right? The Washington Wizards pick, the Wizards are on the fringe. They could be in the playoffs, maybe not, whatever, blah, blah, blah. They had a bunch of bad drafts. Um, um, the Wizards looked like a team that could make the playoffs, so it looked like that pick would convey. And then down the stretch, they decided to tank. And so now that pick is out of the picture. And then the Knicks traded for Josh Hart. The Knicks used their first-round pick for Josh Hart. Right? So now 3 of those first-round picks are out of the equation, right? Now the most dependable pick, the Dallas pick, a team that's a playoff team, a team with a franchise talent, right? A team with a franchise talent. You figure the Dallas Mavericks would make the playoffs and we get the pick somewhere between 21 and 30. Well, the Dallas Mavericks suck. No disrespect to them. Every team has a season like this, right? The Lakers had seasons like this. The Celtics had seasons like this. That's how they got Jason Tatum. That's how they got Jaylen Brown. They had bad seasons, right? It happens. The Knicks had a season like this last year. So the Mavericks suck this season. They're not a bad franchise. They're just having a bad season. They don't suck. They just had this season sucks. Let me rephrase it. This season sucks for the Mavericks. Right? But all of a sudden, all of the first-round picks the Knicks could have had at the beginning of the season have gone away. And for that reason, I'm speaking to you 2 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Right? For that reason, I'm speaking to you 2:19 Eastern Standard Time, right? About, oh my God, we may lose the Mavericks pick. So instead of having 4 first-round picks, the Knicks are on the verge of having 0. There it is. Fan123 is in the building. There it is. Fan123 says, Luka will demand a trade this summer to Orlando. Mavs will suck for the next 2 years with no Kyrie, no Luka, so the Knicks will end up getting 2 second picks due to the top 10 protections. Hey, you know what? And so Fan123, I have a theory about that. I have a theory about that. Right? Here's my theory. The Knicks fired Jason Kidd and hired Jamal Mosley. What if the Mavs. The Mavs fired Jason Kidd and hired Jamal Mosley. That's my theory. Right? And listen, if you're an NBA fan, if you're a fan of a specific team, but you just watch basketball, you remember all the pregame Mavs things where Luka is on the floor talking to a dude that's like his mentor. The young black dude on the floor with Luka talking to him about moves and all of that stuff. You guys know who that was? Jamal Mosley. Jamal Mosley. That's who it is. And right now he's the head coach of the Orlando Magic. And so for a lot of Luka fans, right? For all the Luka fans, they understand what chemistry means. And Luka is a loyal guy, right? We know Luka is a loyal guy, bro. Why Jamal Mosley never got the opportunity in Dallas, you know. You never know. As a Knicks fan, I don't know what's going on inside of their building. Right? I just don't. You don't know what's going on inside the Mavs building. You know, and you know, for the most part, for the most part, um, Dallas has a weird way to communicate. They communicate weirdly, right? For the most part, trying to figure it out. Like I watch Glow Yard. I watch King Kai and Rel. I watch the beat reporter. I think his name is McMenamin. I think that's his name. Or one of, I get them confused, but I watch him. I kind of watch ESPN a little bit. Right? Mike Boy says the Mavs are terrible. Gave up 129 to the Heat and are probably winning two of their last four at the absolute best. Mike Boy, what's good, man? Bully is in the building. What's good, Bully? Ultimately, I guess what I'm saying to you guys and everybody watching, man, if you're the Mavs, do the right thing, bro. Don't worry about the perception of stuff. Just do the right thing, right? If you're the Mavs, do right by the fans, right? If you're the Mavs, consider building this team from the ground up. You can't continue to try to patch a championship contender. You're not going to catch the Phoenix Suns that way. You're not going to catch the Golden State Warriors, the Denver Nuggets that way. Right? Ultimately, what it boils down to is building from the ground up. T. Williams says the Mavs know this is the draft to tank. But listen, and T. Williams, if this was a draft to tank, why didn't they just tank from the beginning? And the reason being is because you can't tank with a generational talent. Generational talents want to win. T. Williams says, we have no picks this year. Same old Knicks. Same old Knicks, bro. Same old Knicks. Right? We could have had Detroit's pick. That was highly unlikely. Right? You could have had the Washington pick if everything went right. You had your own pick, but we decided to trade it for Josh Hart. And we were banking that we'd have a pick because Dallas is normally good. All right, B-Ball for real says the Knicks have their own pick. The last I checked, the source that I used said that pick went in the Josh Hart trade. But I'll check it again right now. I'm going to check it again right now and see if I can put it on the screen. I'm going to check right now. I check a website called basketball.realgm.com is where I get my intel from. That's where I get my intel from. I'm going to see if I can put it on the screen. Because if I'm incorrect, man, I don't want to move forward with incorrect information. Y'all know me. I like to have the facts. So Real GM says the 2023 first round pick to Portland New York's 2023 first round pick to Portland, protected for selections 1 through 14. This pick falls within its protection range and is therefore not conveyed. New York will instead convey 4 unprotected second round picks to Portland. What that means is this. I want to put it on the screen too. I'm going to see if I can put this. Basically, what that means is if the Knicks miss the playoffs, it's ours. If we make the playoffs, it's theirs. Basically, if we make the playoffs, that pick is theirs. If we miss the playoffs, for some strange reason, that pick is ours. Let me see. I'm going to try to put it on the screen. Y'all bear with me for just a split second. I don't want to do that. Yeah, bear with me. I'm going to do... Let me see if I can do a screen capture. I'm going to see if I can put it on the screen so you guys can see it. There it is. Can you guys see that? I know it's small, right? I know it's small. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit big. I'm doing this on the fly, so bear with me, y'all, as I try to accommodate. I'm gonna try to shrink it and then blow it up. All right, can y'all see that? Hey, can y'all see that? Is that good enough? Now, hey, man, child, know that if we don't get the first round pick by 2025, we get the second round pick in 2025. Dallas is going to pay us by 2025. If we don't get the first, then we'll get a second. You see it right there. You should see it right there on the screen. And that bottom, see in that bottom it says, then Dallas will instead convey its 2025 second round pick to the Knicks. And you should also see the next to it, next to Dallas, if you go over one column, it says the 2023 first round draft pick to Portland. New York's 2023 first round pick to Portland, protected for protections 1 through 14. If the pick falls within its protected range and it is therefore not conveyed, then New York will instead convey 4 unprotected second round picks to Portland. Right? And for this reason, for this reason, it's important for the Knicks to get this first-round pick from Dallas this season. Because if we don't get the pick from Dallas, our Knicks will not get a first-round pick in this year's draft unless they acquire one. Right? Manchild says, Cuban is getting back at us for the Brunson signing. And you know what? If an owner is that petty, then the NBA should be on notice. Because this is less about Brunson, because they tried to lowball Brunson and the Knicks ponied up. They lowball Brunson and the Knicks paid, right? Stay cheap and lose. Stay cheap and lose. Ultimately, that's ultimately what it boils down to. Stay cheap and lose. Dallas could have kept that same team together last season and been in a different place. Instead, they took the cheap way out, stills over the cap, and lost most of the team that they had last year, and now they're in the lottery. And Mr. Vince says, I know, Josh Hart was worth the pick we gave up. He has brought out the best in IQ, made Brunson, Julius Hartenstein better. Yeah, and listen, I'm not complaining about the Josh Hart trade, Mr. Vince. All I'm saying is all I'm doing is putting out the details. Right? I'm not complaining about the Josh Hart trade. All I want to put out is correct information. And that's the reason why I wanted to, for instance, when you hear this information, I am the source, but I share my resource with y'all so that y'all know I'm just not on the internet just making up stuff. Y'all know that. Right? I just want to make sure that the information that Knicks fans get is real information from somebody invested in the Knicks. Right? Like, I'm invested in the Knicks. I'm not doing a broad overview from a mega channel. Right? Like I'm not doing a broad overview from ESPN or any other outlet, right? I'm a Knicks fan that's invested. I'm close to you guys. And for that reason, I say, if you're a Knicks fan, and if you're a Dallas Mavericks fan, the best thing to do going forward is to get this trade completed. It shouldn't take 6 years to complete a trade. Because if this thing stretches to 2025, knowing that this trade was consummated in 2019, that makes both franchises look bad. Right? And it makes Dallas look worse. Div says, we get the 10 pick or higher. We make the trade during the draft and get a low-end pick, bottom first round, and shed salary for it, and give you the low pick. Boom, gotcha. Not sure exactly. I'm not for sure. I think Dallas has to give us their pick, not just any pick. I think Dallas has to give us their pick. I understand what you mean by a first round pick should be a first round pick, but I think based on the trade, I think that the Mavs have to give up their first round pick. Audio was in the building. What's good, boss? Our guy is in the building. Audio was good. Yeah, man. If you're a Knicks fan, right? How important is this pick to you? Is it just um um are you just in the mindset that you don't want to go into the offseason without a draft pick? Because the Knicks don't have a 2024 first round pick unless Dallas doesn't surrender this one. I'm gonna put this back on the. Oh, Wiz says, since I would like to run the same team and next year, assuming we don't completely fall flat on our faces, we probably don't have free agent money, so we can use on a 3-and-D athletic 6'7" wing via the draft. B-Baller for real says, what can be done? In terms of this pick, if you're the Knicks, if you're the Knicks, there's nothing you can do at the moment, which is not a bad place to be, because for years all we wanted the Knicks to be ultimately is be rock steady, right? You want the Knicks to be rock steady. Big V CEO, right? Big V CEO says it's not important to me because Tibbs not playing them for at least 2 to 3 years. But yeah, Big V, hey Big V, listen, that's not what you get that pick for. You feel me? Big V, hear me out on this. Hear me out on this, Big V. For us, the pick is not to draft a raw 19-year-old. That pick is for us to package Dallas, Detroit, and Washington's picks to go get a star to play in between Brunson and Randall. And Manchild says that Pistons pick may never convey. Yeah, well, maybe, but in 2027, it's pick 1 through 9. In 2027, it's pick 1 through 9. If you look at, if you go back and look at the, um, um, if you look at the protections, it's 1 through 9 in 2027, and so it may never convey right like we wanted to, but it's gonna convey. We're gonna get a pick from Detroit by 2027. It's part of the genius from the Knicks. And JJ asks, how valuable are protected picks, though, on a trade market? It depends on the person doing the spending. See, the Knicks are the person doing the selling. The person doing the spending, it depends on them. Say, for instance, right? Say, for instance, and this is a wild example, right? Say, for instance, the Knicks offer RJ and Obi and those three picks that I mentioned, right? For what's the guy in Minnesota? What's the shooting guard in Minnesota? Anthony Edwards, right? Say the Knicks offer Obi, RJ, and those 3 picks for Anthony Edwards. Off the rip, Knicks fans and Minnesota fans are going to say, well, why would Minnesota trade Anthony Edwards for Obi and RJ and those 3 picks? Well, the conveyance of those picks could give Minnesota 3 first-round picks that could all eventually be in the top 14. All 3 of those picks eventually could become lottery picks, right? Right? Say the Dallas pick winds up being 8, right? Now we're talking about the number 8 overall pick, RJ, Obi, the Wizards pick, and you know the Wizards hadn't been making the playoffs, and the Detroit pick, and you know Detroit hadn't been making the playoffs. You get offered that, and now you're in a conversation for a Anthony Edwards type player, right? Would you guys be excited about an Anthony Edwards type player playing in between Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson? And guess what else? You got to keep your own Knicks picks. Notice I said the Dallas pick, the Detroit pick, the Washington pick, Obi, and RJ. And I'm just putting them 2 players out there. It could be any combination of young players, right? But notice I said trade 3 picks from other teams plus 2 young players for Anthony Edwards. Notice I did not include the Knicks' own picks. JJ, you can't give it. Me and JJ, JJ, I'm trying to save some, bro. You can't include. You don't want to give up everything, bro. That's what I'm trying to say. JJ said the Bucks pick 2. Hey man, I feel you, bro. Bro, I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, bro. I'm with you, right? I'm with you. And we have a 2025 Brooklyn second-round pick and a Detroit pick. Next year we have a Detroit second and a Miami second-round pick, right? And we have a second-round pick from Utah or Cleveland, whichever one, right? So ultimately, what I'm saying to you, yeah, hey, JJ, so now you understand why I'm on the internet damn near 3 o'clock in the morning about a Dallas Mavericks pick, right? Now y'all see what I mean. Now you see what I mean, right? Paris Duggar is in the building. Parasega says, you still get Dallas's 2024 pick, which is still trade bait. Yeah. Yeah, but the thing, the reason why I say this pick, though, Paris, is because the Mavs suck this season. They're not guaranteed to suck next season. That's the reason why it's important. Right? I don't want to assume that the Dallas Mavericks will suck 2 years back to back, knowing that they have generational talent. They suck right now. So what I'm saying is we should strike while the iron is hot. Right? Strike while the iron is hot. Is the Dallas pick protected? Let me look up here. I just want to check it out and see. All right, I'm just going to read it verbatim, right? The 2025 first round draft pick from Milwaukee. Milwaukee's 2025 first round pick to New Orleans, protected for picks 5 through 30. To New York Knicks, protected selections 1 through 4. Milwaukee's obligation to New Orleans or New York will thereafter be extinguished. To Portland, to Detroit, to New York, Denver. Okay. This was a part of a deal that was Detroit, Portland, and New York on July 6th of last summer. So basically it's protected 5 through 30 for, okay, I'm trying to figure this out. Okay. Milwaukee's obligation to New York will thereafter be extinguished via Portland. Okay. All right, so this one here is a little bit confusing. So it is protected 5 through 30 for New Orleans or to New York 1 through 4. I don't know. I got to figure that one out. I gotta give that one some thought. I don't want to speak to that one just yet. I don't want to speak to that one yet. I need some clarity on that one. I'm going to have to ask somebody to help me with it. I'm going to ask. I ain't going to lie, man. I'm going to have to ask somebody to help me figure that one out. Maybe I can find a Bucks content creator to help me through that one. T. Williams says teams are going to want IQ, not RJ. And Bully says, I like RJ, but and JJ says it's top 4 protected. Okay. Well, 5 through 30 is fine with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I think we still have our own pick. 5 through 30 is fine with me. Right? And to the chat, man, y'all know I love Quickley, right? Myself and Shotgunner, we love Quickley, right? And too, just want to throw something out there too. Shotgunner and Corey Lee and myself, we just did another audio podcast this well, not this morning, but Saturday morning. Man, it was fire, bro. Dudes love to argue, bro. Dudes love to argue, man. And JJ said that Bucks pick is the best one out of all of our future picks. Bro, hey man. I'm slowly starting to think that Leon Rose and them are smarter than what I give them credit for. I ain't gonna lie. Comega says we're going to have to move, or we're going to have to attach picks to move RJ. In the Anthony Edwards scenario, of course, because you're not going to get Anthony Edwards for RJ Barrett straight up. And I'm not pounding the table to trade RJ Barrett, but what I'm saying is when a team has options, a team has options. So T. Williams says, so do you pay Hart and try to sign and trade IQ? I think the easy answer to that is, man, you got to sign Emmanuel Quickley back, give him the bag, right? For multiple reasons. It's not as simple as is Josh Hart better than Emmanuel Quickley? It's not that easy. That's not what it's about, right? What the Josh Hart or Emmanuel Quickley thing is, every NBA team that has an elite point guard has an elite backup. I challenge y'all to think of any team in this league that has an elite point guard that doesn't have an elite a backup point guard. I challenge you, and we'll have the conversation. Even Trae Young and DeJounte Murray share duties. Even Luka shares duties with Kyrie Irving. Even James Harden shares duties with Tyrese Maxey. Right? Not to mention Steph Curry, Dame Lillard, Ja Morant. And T. Williams says, we don't have a bag to give him and Hart. Yeah, we do. You can go over the cap to re-sign your own players. You can go over the cap to re-sign your own players. And you have early bird rights on Quickley because Quickley has been here for 3+ seasons. So you have, not only do you have bird rights, but you have early bird rights. The Josh Hart part is hard to figure out. Like, do you have bird rights for him? I'm trying to figure that part out because we didn't have Josh Hart for a full season. We got Josh Hart at the trade deadline, so we may not have bird rights for Josh Hart, but you can still re-sign him to go over the cap to re-sign him. You just won't get the bird part of it that'll give you the discount for going over the cap. And what that means is, you know how you get penalized a certain number for going over the cap? You don't get penalized as much for re-signing your own player. And so I don't know what the penalty will be for us going over the cap to re-sign Josh Hart. I don't know what that penalty will look like. And T. Williams, I'm with you on that. It sounds like a little bit of salary cap hell for the next 4 years. But consider that Derrick Rose is coming off the cap this year, too. Derrick Rose will be coming off the cap. And some other dead money will be coming off the cap. I'm going to pull up Spot Track real quick. Whatever they call it, Spot Track, whatever they call it. It's a weird spelling. It's SPOTRAC. Spot Rack, whatever they call it, however you say it. I'm on the website now, and I'm going to the Knicks right now, and this season, the Knicks have dead money for Daquan Jeffries, Trevor Keels, an exception for Daquan Jeffries. Cap holes. So the Knicks are in a good place when it comes to the salary cap because there is no huge dead cap or retained cap. Like we don't have Joakim Noah on the cap anymore. We don't have buyout money on the cap. The only thing we do have on the cap that's concerning, Evan Fournier's remaining money. We owe Evan Fournier $55 million. According to Spot Track. And that's including this year's salary, by the way. We have Derrick Rose on the cap for $30 million. The Knicks are not picking that up. So the clean answer is eliminate Rose, which is a given, and you'll have about $15 million in cap space next year, and figure out a way for some team to take Evan Fournier's money, and you'll have your Josh Hart and Emmanuel Quickley space. Hey, Wiz, what it is just for clarity. Derrick Rose is not off the cap. Derrick Rose has a team option. And if the team doesn't pick up Derrick Rose's team option, we still pay Derrick Rose something. I think it's $5 million, but we don't pay him the entire 15. Right? I'm going to go to next year on Spot Track. Make sure, y'all, listen, when y'all do like the cap stuff, make sure y'all use these resources. I know other Knicks content creators ain't going to let y'all in on their secrets, but make sure y'all use these resources so that y'all can follow the conversation, man. You know what I'm saying? Toxic Knicks fan says, the Mavs are more broke than a Thursday night. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that Friday morning direct deposit do be bussin'. I ain't gonna lie. that early Friday morning direct deposit, bim. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Like Forrest Gump, and that's all I have to say about that. That Friday morning direct deposit do be bussin'. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so I'm looking at the next year's salary cap, right? Next year's salary cap. Wow. Next year's salary cap. Listen to the salaries for next year, right? This is crazy when you think about it. Listen to next year's salary. The highest paid player next year, Jalen Brunson, 26.3. Right? Julius Randle, 25.6. R.J. Barrett, 23.8. Evan Fournier, 18.8. Mitchell Robinson, 15.6. Derrick Rose, 15.6. Right? So when we talk about salary cap and all of that stuff, y'all, listen, man, I ain't even going to hold you, bro. The salary cap conversation with the Knicks is crazy. Because there are some teams with dudes making $50 million. Dog. There are teams with one player making $50 million. One player. Right? There are teams out there with one player that make more than our second and third best player combined. We good, bro. We good. Salary cap, we good. Draft picks, we good. And the more I talk about this, I'm not going to lie to you. Y'all know how I really dislike Leon Rose in the front office. And it's not because that what they're doing is because they do it and they don't tell me nothing, which bothers me because I spend bread as a customer. I feel like you need to be telling me what's going on. Toxic Knicks fan says, Dame says hello. Dame makes like 55 million. Let me for context, I'm going to go to the Portland page, right? Just for context. Now, mind you, I said Brunson at 26, Randall at 25, RJ at 23, right? Right? Think about that. 26, 25, 23. Your three top players in salary. Right? Dame makes 45-6. Dame makes $45.6 million in a season by himself. Their next highest paid player, 24-1, Anthony Simons, and Nurkic makes 16-8. Thought he made more than that. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he made more than that. Bro, oh my God. I clicked on the Warriors. Steph Curry makes $51.9 million next season. Klay Thompson makes $43.2 million. Jordan Poole makes 28.7. Draymond makes 27.5. And they're paying all of that. Andrew Wiggins makes 24.3. And they're paying every dime of that. And just in our division, I just want to check in our division just to give everybody some insight to what this front office is doing. I clicked on the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum makes 32.6. Jaylen Brown makes 30.7. Malcolm Brogdon makes 22.5. And Marcus Smart is at 18.5. Peace to IKBM is in the building. Yeah, hey, T. Williams says, chips cost money, bro. Chips cost money. Chips cost money. Yeah, yeah. And I was just talking about next year, like to Dre's point, I'm talking about next season. And the reason why I only mention next season is because, in theory, we'll terminate Derrick Rose's team option or not pick it up, and then we'll struggle with trying to find out what to do with Evan Fournier's money. Will says, look at the Sixers' top three. All right, Philly. So in the first year of Joel Embiid's extension, he makes $46.9 million. The second highest paid player for Philadelphia, Tobias Harris at 39.2. James Harden with a team option, a player option for 35 mil, 35.6 mil. Will James Harden take the team option for 35.6 mil? That is the question. Right? Will James Harden play with a team option of 35.6 mil? In my mind, no. especially not on a one-year deal. Rod Tucker asks, is IQ getting $20 million a year? I have to think about that. I have to think about that because if you're IQ, do you want to spend the next 5 seasons being Jalen Brunson's backup? If you are Emmanuel Quickley, do you want to spend the next 5 seasons, and I'm talking about next season plus his 4-year extension, next year plus his 4-year extension, do you want to spend the next 5 seasons as Jalen Brunson's backup? If I'm Emmanuel Quickley, and I'm saying this if I'm Emmanuel Quickley, right? Not as if I'm a Knicks fan. If I am personally Emmanuel Quickley, I look to be traded. I'm asking to be traded to a team where I can legit get out and play, right? If I'm Emmanuel Quickley, I'm asking to be traded to the Washington Wizards. If I'm Emmanuel Quickley, I'm asking to be traded to the Orlando Magic. If I'm Emmanuel Quickley, I'm asking to be traded to the Toronto Raptors. If I'm Emmanuel Quickley, I'm asking to be traded to the San Antonio Spurs. If I'm Emmanuel Quickley, I'm legit asking to be traded to even Dallas or the Lakers or the Clippers or even the Suns. I would even consider asking to be traded to the Phoenix Suns because they have an old point guard with, say, 1 good year left in them. But if you're the New York Knicks, you cannot guarantee Emmanuel Quickley a starting job at point guard when at the time you signed a 25-year-old. He turned 26 shortly after that, right? You can't guarantee Emmanuel Quickley that he could be the starting point guard of the New York Knicks. If I'm Emmanuel Quickley, I'm looking to get traded to a Chicago Bulls. Right? Because I know teams run multiple point guard sets, multiple small guard sets, right? But ultimately, JJ, I was just about to say that. JJ, you read my mind again, brother. Shout out to JJ. If you're Emmanuel Quickley, right? You know Grimes is the future at the 2. You know Brunson as the future at point, right? And by his 5th year, and Jalen Brunson said it himself. Jalen Brunson said IQ at this age was light years better than him at the same age. Man, I think this offseason we're gonna have to make some tough decisions, man. I want IQ to be a Knick forever. But if you're Emmanuel Quickley, do you want to be a backup forever? if you are Emmanuel Quickley, if you are Emmanuel Quickley, do you want to be the starter, or are you more committed to being a backup for the team that drafted you, or being a starter where you can have your own team? And I honestly believe Emmanuel Quickley is a guy that feels like he can lead his own team. Not saying he's selfish, but he can probably lead his own team. T. Williams says, eventually IQ is going to replace Brunson. In my mind, I think they can coexist, right? I think they can coexist. But the thing about it is, when you have a bunch of young, hungry players, right? All of the young, hungry players are not going to live. I think the only way that Quickley lives and thrives and as a Knick is if RJ is gone. And what does that mean? RJ's got to go. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying RJ Barrett plays a major role for the Knicks also. So now you're talking about four guys trying to play major roles. You're talking about Brunson, Randall, RJ, Quickley, right? And Quickley is probably thinking to himself, like, right now, I could be the second best player on this team if given the opportunity. Quickley and not in a selfish way either. I'm saying in a total team way. I'm not saying Quickley is a selfish player. I'm saying Quickley is a confident player. I think RJ is a selfish player, though. I think RJ Barrett is a very selfish player at times. Too selfish at times. I think RJ is too selfish at times. IKBM Dre says the Mavs have issues that aren't Kyrie. Yes. Ironically, I think a lineup of Kyrie, Luka, and Quickley can contend deep in the playoffs. JJ says RJ crazy selfish, hard to watch. Yet in the Cleveland game when they had the two fast breaks where he didn't pass it out to Obi, if I was Obi, listen, man. RJ Barrett gets that ball in transition, and it's a pseudo 2-on-1, and Obi is down court by himself with a man, and he don't pass it to Obi. If I'm Obi, I'm scorching hot. And Div says you can keep Quickley. Bro, listen, I ain't gonna lie. We want to keep Quickley. We're not giving him to the Mavs, bro. Trust me. Quickley would come there. Quickley would go to Dallas and be their third best player behind Luka and Kyrie immediately. As soon as it's announced, he's automatically their third best player. And Dallas would have to give us at least 3 first-round picks and some players for Quickley. Easily. Quickley is a all-NBA level defender, 6th man of the year candidate, and potentially most improved player in the NBA. Easily. Emmanuel Quickley on Dallas immediately would be their third best player and probably a fan favorite of a Hall of Fame point guard, Jason Kidd. No, that's not it, bro. You got to look at numbers, bro. You got to look at data. Data says that, not my opinion. Emmanuel Quickley is a top 10 defender in the NBA according to NBA.com. According to NBA.com, Emmanuel Quickley, or at least the last time I checked, like last week, right? Emmanuel Quickley is a top 10 player, period. Not top 10, not top percentile, not according to such and such stat, just overall, period. I know, Div, and it's not y'all fault, bro. It's not y'all fault. It's just, you know, I'm not being disrespectful to the Mavs. What I'm saying is, Quickley might be a top 3 player on our team right now. Also, there are Knicks fans that think Emmanuel Quickley is better than R.J. Barrett right now. Knicks fans in the chat, do y'all think Emmanuel Quickley is better? Anybody in the chat think Emmanuel Quickley is better than R.J. Barrett? Josh Hart. I see you, boss. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. And plus, the Mavs' third best player is probably Tim Hardaway Jr. So, I mean, I don't know if it's Tim Hardaway Jr. right now or Hardy or whoever. I think it's rotating. With Mavs fans, it's probably rotating from game to game, right? And it's because of Jason Kidd. It's not because of the talent level. But I know Christian Wood doesn't show up every night, right? Christian Wood doesn't show up every night. You know, it's just odd. Chase Coleman says, yes. Mr. Vince says, I would keep IQ and trade RJ. I would say this also about RJ, Quickley, Grimes, and Obi. The group of young, our really young talent. I think Quickley, of all of our young talent, Quickley is always the one pushed to the bottom, but always rises back to the top. Right? Like I think our fan base wants Quentin Grimes to be in that spot, but Quickley always rises. I think the fan base wanted Obi to be that guy, but Quickley always rises. And I think there is a sect of New York Knicks fans that believe RJ should be it because he was the third overall pick, and Quickley always rises back to the top. Emmanuel Quickley is a good young NBA player. A very good young NBA player. So if we get back to the question of who do you pay, Josh Hart or Emmanuel Quickley, I think the answer is easy. You pay Quickley first because you can find a Josh Hart anywhere. You can't find an Emmanuel Quickley anywhere. No disrespect to Josh Hart, but energy wing player, I can go find one of them right now. And I know what people are going to say, but Josh Hart brings energy off the bench, man. He's an energy wing player that, man, I can go get an energy wing player from anywhere USA. And no disrespect to Josh Hart because I've always liked Josh Hart as a player, right? I never thought he'd be a fit for the Knicks, right? But ultimately, you never know what a fit for the Knicks is because things keep changing. I never thought the Knicks would be all in on a 5'10" point guard. I know they say he's 6'1". Listen, I'm legally legit measured by Uncle Sam at 6'5" and a quarter. I know 6'1" when I see it, and he is not it. I'm easily 6 inches taller than Jalen Brunson, and when I say easily, listen, easily. Like, I know 6'5" when I see it, because I see it in the mirror every day. Manchild says RJ is the Randall of last season. And plus, and just real quick, 6'5" is not always good, bro. When you shop, bro, it's not always good. You always got to shop at some tall store. Dress shirts, like when you get your dress shirts, your sleeves always be like this. I don't know how NBA players do it, bro. Cats be talking about, hey, he's 6'4" with a 6'9" wingspan. Bro, that means you got to buy a dress shirt for a dude 6'9". And Manchild says Josh Hart is a keeper. Sure, but not in front of Quickley, though. I'm not getting ready to put Quickley on the chopping block for no Josh Hart. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm with you to a point. Josh Hart is a keeper, but I'm not risking Emmanuel Quickley. That's a conversation I'm not having. Right? That'll be LOL Knicks. That'll be LOL Knicks. Use a first round pick on a dude and develop him, let him get good, and then let him go out the door for a journeyman wing player with energy off the bench. That's LOL Knicks in my mind. That's LOL Knicks in my mind. And then the thing, part two of the Josh Hart thing is if you pay Josh Hart this summer, that means you risk not signing Quentin Grimes next summer. It's dominoes, man. It's dominoes. Like legit, if you give Josh Hart the bag this summer, are you gonna give Quentin Grimes the bag next summer? Can you? I like Josh Hart, right? I like Josh Hart, but come on, bro. Come on, bro. Yeah, come on, bro. I like Josh Hart, right? But you don't play for like 4 different teams for a reason. This dude played for the Lakers, the Pelicans, Portland, and now us. And he's only been in the league like 6 years. Hey, Cap, nah, I didn't call Josh Hart a ham sandwich. I didn't call him I want Josh Hart, but Josh Hart better realize that there is levels to this. There are levels to this, right? Are the Knicks gonna really risk? Are the Knicks gonna really risk losing Quickley and or Grimes to keep Josh Hart? Or are they going to go into deep salary cap hell for Josh Hart? In my mind, you have to, because you traded in asset form. You didn't sign him outright in free agency, right? So you got to sign Josh Hart back, right? But there are levels to this. There's levels to it. And for me, under no circumstances do you put Emmanuel Quickley and Quentin Grimes at risk for Josh Hart. You don't put a journey. You don't put you don't prioritize a journeyman wing play, energetic big. Energy wing for 2 guys that eventually could be key pieces to your championship run. I just can't see it. I just can't see that. And if you ask what he brings to the table, don't tell me he can average 8 rebounds a game. And somebody told me, somebody DM'd me, and they were like, but Uncle Freezie, Josh Hart said he likes New York. Josh Hart says he can see staying with the Knicks for 4 more years. Of course he said that. What was he supposed to say? What was Josh Hart supposed to say? Like, legit, you know how you go in your DMs? Like I get about, no lie, about somewhere between 10 to 20, maybe 25 DMs, right? People are like, oh, Uncle Freezie, I didn't like the topic today. Or, oh, Uncle Freezie, I'm the secretary for such and such of the such and such NBA team, and I heard y'all was blah, blah, blah. I mean, I get those all the time, right? Half of the stuff, I don't even believe it, right? Maybe it's maybe why I don't have no connections in the game, because I don't read my DMs all the time. But somebody legit put out there like, yo, Josh Hart said he'd love to be a Knicks player for the next 4 years. Really? I bet you he did say that. And I like Josh Hart. I like Josh Hart, man. Audio says, if both go down, McBride will score 40. Stop it. Audio, stop it. Audio, go outside. Audio, go outside and take a deep breath, bro. You know, we've all seen. I say that joking, right? I say that joking. Audio, don't be bad, bro. But you know what I'm saying. But really, bro, McBride, get out of here. We know McBride struggles offensively. He's a great defender, but come on, bro. McBride is not scoring no 40 points. It'll take him 7 games to score 40. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. McBride, come on, man. Let's not diminish who Quickley is. Come on, man. Come on, bro. We do that often. We diminish like what our players do. But if Tyrese Maxey would have did it, if LaMelo Ball would have did it, you know what I'm saying? We'd have been like, we need to trade for Tyrese Maxey. We need to trade for LaMelo. Come on, man. And IKBM says, we gave that first thinking the Mavs would be competent. Yeah, right. Yeah, man. We did all of that thinking, like the Josh Hart move. In my mind, I thought the Knicks were trading the Wizards pick because it was on the fringe, and at the time the Wizards were competitive. I thought it was the Wizards pick. Turns out it's the Knicks pick. So since we traded the Knicks pick in 2023, we can't trade the Knicks pick in 2024. Right? If we still have it. That's if we still have it. So yeah, ultimately, man, this Knicks pick with the Mavs, it is in danger. We may lose it, and if we lose it, man, we might not have a first round pick or cap space this summer. So if we don't have cap space nor draft picks, this front office is going to have to be creative. Right. Right. Well, and Dre, the Knicks pick this year, we're going to make the playoffs, so it don't even matter. The Knicks pick is going to Portland, so it don't even to us. It don't even matter. Yeah, to us it don't even matter. Right. And when I look back at spot track for, let me go back to spot track for next season. I think we're already at the salary cap for next season, so that means we won't have cap space. So the Knicks are, for next season, the Knicks are committed to, the Knicks are over the cap salary cap next year. The cap next season, oh, I'm sorry, the luxury tax threshold next season. The luxury tax threshold next season is 162 million, and right now the Knicks are at 166,372,673. So we're basically over the cap at 4.4 million. So the luxury cap spot of it, we're already over the luxury cap threshold for next season at about $4.4 million. If we don't move Derrick Rose, and if we don't move Evan Fournier, we're already over. We're already over. So in terms of moves this summer, whew, I'm gonna need some help to break down. I'm gonna need some help to break down the Knicks moves this summer. I'm gonna need some help to break down the Knicks moves this summer, right? Maybe that's a show we can do after the Knicks win the championship this year. That's definitely a show worth having. Yeah, but Dre, yeah, Derrick Rose not coming back, but we're still over the salary cap. I gave the luxury tax numbers. I gave the luxury threshold numbers, not the salary cap numbers. So even with Rose, we're still over the salary cap. I mean, without Rose, we're still over the salary cap. I gave the luxury threshold numbers. I'll see if I can find the cap number. Cap totals. Yeah, we're over. Yeah, we're over, bro. But it's okay because most NBA teams operate over the salary cap, right? Smart NBA teams operate over the salary cap, right? The reason why you operate over the salary cap is because the benefits to teams over the salary cap are greater than the benefit to teams under salary cap. If you're under the salary cap, all you do is save nickels and dimes, right? But if you're over the salary cap, you pay those nickels and dimes, but you also have the ability, you have the biannual exception. You have the what you call it? You have all these exceptions at play for teams that are over the cap. Manchild says I would trade RJ Randall if it gets a star. And what I would say to that, man, is I would keep Randall. Mr. Vince read my mind. I would keep Randall and trade Obi. That's my move. Right? My move is trade Obi. My move is trade Obi and Fournier together, entice a team that Obi can be a player, and have them accept Fournier's contract. And I like Obi. But if we're just talking about who produces and who doesn't, I think Obi is the one that ultimately has to go. And I know Obi makes top. I'll tell you exactly what Obi makes instead of me speculating. I'll tell you exactly what Obi makes next year. Next year, Obi makes $6.6 million. Hartenstein makes $8.1 million. Rose makes $15.6 million. Mitch makes $15.7 million. Fournier makes $18.9 million. That's the one that has to go. Derrick Rose and Evan Fournier together make about $34 million. Got to go. Got to go. Knicks for life is in the building. What's good, boss? By trading or by somehow moving Fournier, Rose, and Obi, you save about $42 million. You save about $42 million, right? And I think that gets you really close to keeping Hart, Quickley, and maybe even Grimes by moving $42 million. And B Baller for real says, man, we ain't getting nothing from Obi. We ain't getting nothing from no Obi. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's an entertaining thought, though. It's a very entertaining thought. You know what I'm saying? It's entertaining when you think about it. Right. I'm gonna ask one more question and then I'm gonna wrap up and get out of here so I can get some sleep before AD and I rock the mic at 11. Would you consider, if you're a Knicks fan, would you consider Miles Bridges? Knicks fans, would you consider Miles Bridges? I'm just reading the chat. I'm waiting on the chat to holler at me about Miles Bridges. Would you consider Miles Bridges? As a starter at the 3. Miles Bridges is a 3 that played the 4 in small line. Miles Bridges is Miles Bridges is 6'6" on a dot. Miles Bridges to me looks 6'6" on a dot. Like I think he's a smidge taller than me. Right? I think ultimately this summer I don't know if he's done with the NBA or if the NBA is done with him. I don't know. And Comega says he's going to be blackballed for the foreseeable future. Probably so. Probably so. Kind of like O.J. Mayo. Y'all remember O.J. Mayo? Dre, listen, Dre, hey man, I knew y'all were gonna say. I know what the thing is. The thing is, Miles McBride. Jeez, I guess if we got him, we'd have two Miles, right? Miles Bridges is not a good 3-point shooter, right? We know that. But don't speak that to me when the Knicks made the playoffs with R.J. Barrett. And Knicks for Life says, what would the trade look like? Would I consider it? Sure depends on what's being considered in a trade. It's easy. RJ and Obi. RJ and Obi is the package. RJ and Obi. How about Mikal Bridges? Brooklyn. I don't think Brooklyn will trade him. I think Mikal Bridges is a perfect fit for us. But with that said, Mikal Bridges is a perfect fit for every NBA team. A durable 3-and-D wing with scoring upside that stays healthy. He's a perfect fit for everyone, bro. If you're Charlotte, would you consider Obi Toppin and RJ for Miles Bridges? I don't want to trade RJ, but for Miles Bridges, bro, I ain't saying. Right. All right, party people. I think that might be enough for right now, man. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. And listen, I know at times y'all want to talk about the same old stuff. Like we want to talk about like the same things over and over. The only reason why I do these here is so that it gives those that want to talk about something different occasionally a place to hang out and talk about different stuff. Right? I already know what the vibe is. I know that in Nick's universe we want to talk about the same things. We have a routine that we used to. So, and I'm not begrudging that. But every once in a while I like to what I'm saying, talk about other stuff and how it impacts us. I'm gonna get out of here though. Old school Knicks coming your way at 11. That's the plan. Old school Knicks at 11. Me and Anthony D. I think the topic is AD hit me up earlier. AD hit me up and said, what makes a rivalry? Will Knicks versus Cleveland remind us of 90s rivalries? We'll see. We'll see about that. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. It was your main man. Uncle Freezie coming through to rock for a little bit, man. I'll see y'all in a little. Oh, you know what?